ever feel like some people are just like hardwired for success? You know, like they've got that secret sauce or something?
Yeah.
You know, like you're just kind of like, I wasn't born with that.
Right.
Well, get ready to ditch that idea because today we are diving deep into Brian Tracy's Liberando Soup Potential Seminar.
Yes.
And he totally blows that myth wide open.
He does.
It's so good.
Yeah. We always think, oh, they're making bank. They must be brilliant. But no, he says these massive income differences, it's not just raw intelligence.
So true.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does he explain that then? What's that like secret ingredient from his perspective?
He has this thing, it's called the potential equation.
Okay.
And it's beautiful, actually. He says your potential is a combination of your innate abilities, like it's stuff you're just born with, right?
Right.
Plus your acquired abilities, so all the skills and knowledge you pick up along the way.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
But I'm sensing a but here.
There's a but. This is where it gets good.
So he says you take those two things
Okay.
and you multiply them by, are you ready for this? Your attitude.
Whoa! Okay, hold on. So attitude is the multiplier.
It's the multiplier.
Okay. I like this already. I'm liking where this is going. Why is that?
Because think about it. You could have all the talent in the world.
Right.
You could have all the skills. But if you don't believe in yourself or you're constantly expecting to fail, are you really going to reach your full potential?
Right, because it's almost like how we think about ourselves and how we view the world is going to actually impact what manifests in our reality in a way.
100%.
Yeah.
He says our attitudes come from our expectations, which are formed by our beliefs. And he gives this great example of like somebody who, you know, they're really into their horoscope.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear this. So the horoscope, how does that come into play?
Let's say it says it's going to be an amazing, lucky day. If they believe that, they're going to approach the day with a sense of, whew, like what's going to happen today? This is going to be great. They're going to see, they're going to notice things. They might take chances they wouldn't otherwise take.
Because they're looking for it.
They're looking for the good.
Yeah.
And that leads to positive outcomes, right?
Totally. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's where it gets really empowering. He says, we're not stuck.
Oh, good.
With these pre-programmed beliefs and expectations. We can choose them.
Okay, so we're not just talking about like positive thinking. We're talking about actually making a conscious decision about what we expect from ourselves.
Yes.
What we expect from the world around us.
You got it.
Okay.
And this is where the idea of self-concept comes in, which is like the operating system running in the background of our minds.
Okay, all right, I like this. Let's unpack self-concept. What is that?
It's basically the collection of all of our beliefs, our values, our attitudes, our feelings about ourselves, shaped by our experiences throughout our life. And it's like this master program that influences how we see the world, how we interact with the world, how we behave in the world.
And he breaks this down even further, right?
He does. Yeah. 3 main parts.
Yeah. Okay.
Your self-ideal, your self-image, and your self-esteem.
So like the ideal you, the you see now, and how much you like that you.
Yes.
Okay, I feel like self-esteem, that's a big one.
Big time.
Yeah.
Your self-esteem, or how much you genuinely like yourself, plays a huge role in everything you do.
Yeah.
It affects your confidence, your relationships, your decision-making. Like, it really does impact your entire reality.
Okay, so we're talking about self-esteem, kind of the foundation of this whole self-concept thing. But where does that even come from?
Well, it's interesting because Tracy says it's not like we're just born with a certain level of self-esteem.
Okay.
It's shaped by our experiences, especially in those really early years.
Those formative years when we're like little sponges, right?
Exactly, yeah. Like, picture a baby.
Yeah.
They come into the world fearless, spontaneous. They just want to explore.
Totally.
But as we grow, the way our parents, our caregivers interact with us, that starts to shape how we see ourselves.
Like their feedback becomes our own internal programming in a way.
It does.
So if a child is hearing a lot of negativity, those messages, those really stick with them.
Yeah, and that's when things can really kind of take a downturn.
Yeah.
Tracy's point is that this destructive criticism, especially when it's happening in childhood, can be so damaging to a child's self-esteem because like you're planting these seeds of doubt that just grow and grow.
It's so true. It makes you wonder, like, how does that damage really show up? You know, if someone's struggling with low self-esteem, how does that actually manifest in their life?
He talks about 2 major fears that often come from negative early experiences.
Okay.
Fear of failure and fear of rejection.
Oh, yeah. Those are big ones.
Yeah. And he doesn't just talk about them in like this abstract way.
Yeah.
He actually gets into how those fears show up in your body.
Oh, see, I love when he does that. I'm all about that mind-body connection.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, so paint me a picture. What does fear of failure, how does that actually feel?
Okay, imagine this. You've got a big presentation at work. You're about to step up in front of everybody.
Oh, I'm getting nervous just thinking about it.
Right. And suddenly, you feel that tightness in your chest. Your heart starts to race. Maybe your palms are sweaty. Maybe you get a tension headache.
Oh, the worst.
That's the fear of failure taking over.
It's amazing how our bodies, I mean, it makes sense, but it's still wild to me how our bodies just react like that.
It is.
To those emotions.
Yeah, and the fear of rejection, it's a little different. He describes it as this feeling of tension in your shoulders and neck.
Yes. Like a weight on your back almost.
Exactly.
Like you're carrying the weight of other people's judgments and expectations.
Yeah, it's so true. And, he makes the point that a lot of times these fears and those physical sensations that come with them, they come from those early experiences
Yeah.
where we had criticism, conditional love, where we learned to associate putting ourselves out there with potential pain.
Like our subconscious is trying to protect us from getting hurt again.
Exactly.
Which ironically can end up holding us back
Huge irony there.
from the things that we really want, the success, the connection, all of that.
100%.
So then how do we break free?
Right.
If these are learned patterns, can we unlearn them? Can we rewrite that programming?
That's the good news. He really believes we can change.
Okay.
And he says that self-esteem and fear, they have this inverse relationship.
They
As you
do.
build one, the other one starts to naturally diminish.
Okay, so like a seesaw. So as self-esteem goes up, fear goes down.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that visual. So where do we start?
Yeah.
How do we build that self-esteem? I've heard about affirmations and things like that, but does that stuff really work? Okay.
It sounds a little woo-woo at first, but there's something really powerful about consciously choosing our thoughts
Okay.
and our beliefs. And Tracy's big on affirmations. He says, even if you don't believe them at first, if you're regularly repeating these positive statements about yourself,
Yeah.
you can start to rewire those subconscious beliefs that are holding you back.
So we're replacing those negative tapes with something more empowering.
Totally.
Okay, I like that.
But it's not just about the words, it's about the actions too.
Okay, how so?
He also talks about self-acceptance, which is huge.
Yeah.
It's about embracing who you are, flaws and all.
Not trying to be perfect,
Right.
but being okay with the perfectly imperfect person that you are.
Exactly. And that means being kind to yourself, forgiving yourself for your mistakes,
Yeah.
and recognizing that you are inherently worthy,
Yeah.
regardless of what you've accomplished or what other people think.
So it's like building self-esteem, it's a journey.
It is.
Not like a destination.
That's not a one and done. It's ongoing.
Totally. Yeah.
And a big part of that, it seems like, is learning how to handle criticism
Yes,
in a healthy way, like
Yeah.
giving it, receiving it.
for sure.
And I know Tracy has some really interesting thoughts on criticism.
He does.
Like how to do it well.
Yeah, he talks about how when it's done effectively, it shouldn't feel like an attack.
Yeah.
It should feel more like you're working together with somebody
Okay.
to help them grow.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So what's his secret? How do we give feedback in a way that actually builds people up?
Well, he's really big on protecting self-esteem.
Okay.
He says, always start with the praise.
Okay.
Highlight what they're doing well before you get into any areas for improvement.
Yeah, it's like that whole sandwich technique.
Yes.
Give them something good. Give them the hard stuff. Give them something good again.
Exactly. But it's more than just sugarcoating it, right?
Oh.
It's about showing them, hey, I see your strengths. I want to see you succeed.
Right.
And he also says, focus on the future.
Don't dwell on the past. Don't dwell on the mistakes.
Well, and we can't change the past, right?
Right.
All we can do is learn from it and move forward.
Exactly. So instead of saying, oh, you messed up here, you did this wrong, it's like, okay, how can we do it differently next time?
Yeah.
It's empowering people to grow
I love that.
rather than leaving them feeling defeated.
And it makes me think about, all of this, building self-esteem, handling criticism well. This isn't just about us, right?
Right.
Like, it affects our relationships, our work, everything.
It impacts all areas of our lives.
It really does. It's
Yeah.
all connected.
It is. It's all connected.
And actually, there's this phrase that he uses
Yeah.
towards the end of the seminar,
Uh-huh.
and he talks about becoming a perpetual self-esteem generating organism.
Classic Tracy, right?
No, I know it's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful, but it's such a powerful concept, though.
It is.
He's saying we can become like self-powered in a way.
Mm-mm.
By doing those things that make us feel good about ourselves, we're creating this positive feedback loop.
So it's this constant
Yes,
self-discovery, growth, all of that.
100%.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a really cool concept.
It is. And, for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with this thought. What is one small action that you can take today to kind of nurture your own self-esteem,
Mhm.
to start building that momentum? Because even the tiniest little step
I think that's key. That's what I was just thinking. One small step
can make a huge difference.
can, yeah. It's those little things, those little wins that add up.
Exactly. And that is it for today's deep dive into Brian Tracy.
So good. His stuff's always so
It
good.
is. It's so insightful but practical, which I love. Until next time.